The echo of my sneakers squeaking on the polished hardwood died away like a final heartbeat, leaving me alone in the vast, humming silence of the gym. I wiped sweat from my brow, the sting of salt in my eyes blurring the exit sign ahead, when the heavy double doors slammed shut with a metallic clang that rattled my bones. "Hey! Wait!" I shouted, lunging forward, but the lock clicked home just as a voice, deep, gravelly, laced with unexpected amusement, filtered through from the other side. "Looks like you're stuck with me tonight, kid. Game's just getting started." I pounded on the door once, twice, my fist throbbing against the unyielding steel, but the hallway lights flickered off beyond the narrow window slit, plunging the world outside into indifferent shadow. My heart hammered not from fear, but from the raw, electric wrongness of it all. The way the air suddenly thickened, charged like the moments before a storm breaks over the Midwest plains. And then, from the shadowed alcove by the bleachers, he stepped into the dim emergency glow, the janitor, tall and broad-shouldered, his navy work shirt clinging to a frame that spoke of quiet strength, eyes catching the faint light like polished obsidian. "Name's Elias," he said, extending a calloused hand, his smile crooked and knowing, as if he'd been waiting for this exact unraveling of my world. That night in the locked gym of Lincoln High, under the faded banners of championships long faded, I didn't know it yet, but Elias was the key to everything I'd been running from, and the door he'd sealed wasn't just to the building. It was to the parts of me I'd buried deeper than any locker room secret. I slumped against the door, breath coming in ragged bursts, the cool metal pressing into my back like an accusation. Practice had run late again. Coach Harlan's idea of building character. He'd barked, his whistle shrill as a referee's foul call. I'd stayed after, alone, dribbling until my arms burned, chasing that rhythm that drowned out the noise in my head. The noise of whispers in the showers, sidelong glances from teammates who joked too loud about fairies on the court. The weight of my own unspoken truths pressing down like the summer humidity back in Kansas, where I'd grown up dodging tornado warnings and small-town stares. Elias didn't rush me. He leaned against the scorer's table, arms crossed, watching with that patient gaze that made the space between us feel less like a trap and more like an invitation. "You always this jumpy after a game? Or is it just the lock-in special?" His voice carried the faint drawl of the South, Georgia, maybe, or Alabama, smoothed over by years in the North, like gravel under tires on a rain-slicked highway. I forced a laugh, but it came out hollow, scraping the high rafters. "Jumpier than a cat in a room full of rocking chairs. You do this often? Lock kids in for fun." I pushed off the door, straightening my jersey. Number 23, faded red and gold, the same as Dad's old high school Letterman jacket hanging in the closet back home. At 18, senior year grinding down like bad breaks, I was supposed to be the golden boy. Star point guard, college scouts whispering in the stands, the kid who could thread a needle with a fast break. But golden boys don't lie awake wondering if the ache in their chest is from sprints or from stealing glances at the way Alex Ramirez's neck curved when he toweled off after practice. "Only the ones who look like they need a breather," Elias replied, pushing off the table and closing the distance in 3 easy strides. Up close, he smelled of pine cleaner and something warmer. Coffee, maybe, or the faint leather of work gloves. Mid-40s, I'd guess, with salt and pepper stubble framing a jaw that could have been chiseled from the same oak as the bleachers. His eyes, though dark brown, flecked with gold, held stories I couldn't read yet, depths that pulled like the Mississippi current I'd seen once on a family road trip. "I'm not here to hurt you, Jordan. Saw your name on the roster taped to the door. Coach leaves it for me to know who's lingering." Jordan. Yeah, that's me. Jordan Hale, the Hale that traced back to cornfields and church suppers, where Dad preached fire and brimstone Sundays and Mom baked pies that won blue ribbons at the county fair. We'd uprooted to Chicago 2 years back for Dad's new parish, trading amber waves for steel skyscrapers and the relentless pulse of the city. Lincoln High was my anchor, the gym with its scuffed lines and echoing thuds, the one place where I could pretend the world outside didn't twist everything I felt into knots. "You know my name, but I don't know why the hell you'd lock the door on purpose." I crossed my arms, mirroring him, but my voice cracked just enough to betray the bluff. The gym felt smaller now, the air humming with the low buzz of fluorescent backups, casting long shadows that danced like uneasy partners. Elias chuckled, low and rumbling, rubbing the back of his neck, a gesture that softened the lines around his eyes. Fair question. Truth? Power flickered earlier. Thought I heard the generator kick in wrong old building, you know? Tested the locks from out there and, well, clicked a little too final. By the time I realized, the hall lights were on a timer. You're stuck till morning crew shows at 6. He glanced at the industrial clock above the hoop. 10:47 p.m. Plenty of time to kill. Got a thermos of decent Joe if you're not too proud to share with the help. I hesitated, the offer hanging between us like a loose ball on the court. Pride? Yeah, I had buckets of it. The kind that kept me smiling through locker room ribbing, nodding along to the crude sketches of what-ifs that masked their unease with me. But exhaustion won out, the kind that seeps into your bones after a double overtime drill. Coffee sounds like salvation, but if this is some hazing ritual, I'm calling bullshit. We settled on the lowest bleacher row, the wood groaning under our weight like an old friend settling in for a late-night confession. Elias poured from a battered stainless thermos, steam curling up in lazy spirals, black and strong enough to strip paint. I took the lid cup, sipping slow, the bitterness grounding me as the warmth spread through my chest. So, Elias? I said, testing the name on my tongue. It rolled easy, like a well-oiled layup. What's a guy like you doing mopping floors in a place like this? You look like you've seen more courts than just the custodial ones. He leaned back, elbows on the step behind, staring up at the rafters where dust motes swirled in the dim light. Seen my share. Played D1 back in the day, Georgia Tech, point like you. Fast as lightning till a bad knee sidelined me senior year. Bounced around after. Coaching gigs that fizzled, sales jobs that soured. Ended up here 5 years back. Steady pay, no scouts breathing down your neck. Just me and the echoes. His voice dipped at the end, a shadow crossing his face. Not regret, exactly, but the quiet ache of roads not taken. I nodded, the parallel hitting like a screen set too hard. Fast point guards, we were cut from the same cloth, wired for the quick cut, the no-look pass that leaves defenders grasping air. But where I'd clawed my way to varsity captaincy, dodging the whispers that followed me like a bad pick, Elias had walked that path and come out the other side scarred but standing. Knee, huh? Must have sucked. I mean, the scouts, the dreams. Sucked the air right out of me. He met my eyes then, steady, and something unspoken passed. A flicker of understanding that made my pulse stutter. But life's not one and done, Jordan. You learn to pivot. Find new plays. He paused, sipping his own coffee, the steam veiling his features for a beat. What about you? What's got you burning the midnight oil alone? Team cut you loose early? The question landed soft, but it pried at the edges of my armor. I stared into the black liquid, swirling it like it held answers. Nah, just needed the quiet. Coach pushes hard. No quit inhale, he says. But it's more than that. I swallowed, the words sticking like dry toast. How do you say it? That the quiet wasn't escape from drills, but from the roar in my head, the way my gaze lingered too long on the curve of a teammate's shoulder, the forbidden thrill of a brush in the huddle that sent heat racing through me like a fast break gone wrong. In Chicago, with its rainbow flags waving proud in Boys Town blocks away, I still felt like the kid from Kansas, hiding behind crosses and casseroles. Elias didn't push, just nodded slow, like he'd heard 1,000 variations in his own late nights. Quiet's a good teacher. Shows you what's real. He set his cup down, the clink echoing soft, and for the first time, I noticed the faded ink on his forearm peeking from his rolled sleeve. A basketball laced with thorns, wrapped in a ribbon that read "Hold Fast." A tattoo? On a janitor? Dehumanized him, cracked the mystery just enough to draw me closer. We talked then, easy as breathing, about the '98 Bulls run that hooked us both as kids, the sting of buzzer beaters lost, the way the city chewed up dreamers and spat out survivors. Hours slipped by unmarked, the clock ticking past midnight, the gym wrapping around us like a confessional. Elias shared stories of Atlanta Heat, of pickup games under floodlights where bets were settled in blood and bruises, of a coach who saw potential in a scrawny kid from the projects. I opened up in fragments, Dad's sermons on the wages of sin. Mom's worried glances when I dodged church youth group for extra throws. The pressure of being the Hale who wouldn't falter. By 2 a.m., the coffee gone cold, we were sprawled on the court, backs against the padded wall under the basket, knees brushing accidental at first, then not. His laugh came freer now, a sound like thunder rolling distant over Lake Michigan, and when he turned to me, eyes catching the glow from the exit sign, I felt it, the pull, magnetic and terrifying, like stepping to the free throw line with the game's fate in your grip. "You remind me of me, Jordan," he murmured, voice low, the space between us shrinking to breaths, carrying it all like it's a full-court press. "But you don't have to solo this." My throat tightened, words failing as his hand, rough, steady, found my shoulder, squeezing just enough to anchor me. In that touch, electric and tender, the world outside the locked doors faded, leaving only the raw truth of us. Two men in the half-light, hearts laid bare on the hardwood. But truths like that, they don't stay locked forever. And as dawn's first gray teased the high windows, I had no idea the key Elias held wasn't just to the gym, but to a betrayal that would shatter everything. The first sliver of dawn crept in like a hesitant intruder, painting the gym in soft grays and golds that softened the edges of our makeshift camp. I dozed off sometime after 3, head lolling against Elias's shoulder, his steady breathing a rhythm more soothing than any post-game cool-down. When I stirred, he was already up, methodically stacking the stray cones coach had left scattered like forgotten sentinels. He moved with quiet efficiency, the janitor's uniform rumpled but his posture straight, as if the night hadn't bent him at all. "Morning sunshine," he said without turning, tossing a wink over his shoulder that hit me square in the chest. "Figured you'd want coffee round 2 before the cavalry arrives." I sat up, rubbing sleep from my eyes, the court cool beneath me. My phone, miraculously charged from a pre-practice plug-in, buzzed insistently in my gym bag. 5 missed calls from Mom, 2 texts from Alex asking if I was ghosting practice again. Guilt twisted sharp, but it paled against the warmth lingering from Elias's nearness. "Yeah, black as my soul," I quipped, standing to stretch, my calves protesting the night's hard floor. He poured from a fresh thermos. Where he'd stashed it, God knows, and we leaned against the wall, watching the light strengthen. Conversation flowed lighter now, laced with the easy camaraderie of survivors sharing war stories. Elias talked about his ex. A brief mention slipped in like a casual pick and roll. "We met at a rec league in Atlanta. Her fire matched my speed, but life had other plans. No bitterness, just the humanistic nod to paths diverging, the way love can be a teammate one day and a ghost the next." That word, love, hung unspoken between us, but I felt its echo in the way his gaze lingered when I laughed, the brush of his fingers passing the cup. For the first time, in this locked-away world, I let myself imagine it. Not the furtive glances or the internalized shame, but something real, unapologetic. A man who saw me, not the facade. The 6 a.m. buzzer shattered it all. The distant clank of keys in the hall, voices murmuring as the maintenance crew arrived. Elias straightened, regret flickering across his face. "Showtime. I'll get you out before Harlan turns this into a scandal." He unlocked the doors with a practiced twist, the hinges sighing open to the fluorescent glare of the hallway. Freedom tasted like stale air and regret, but as I stepped through, he caught my arm, gentle, insistent. "Hey, this wasn't nothing, Jordan. Meet me tonight? Back lot after your scrimmage. I've got a truck with a bench seat and stories that'd curl your toes." My pulse raced, a yes bubbling up before doubt could choke it. "Yeah, 8 sharp. Don't leave me hanging." His grin was pure victory, the kind you flash after sinking a game winner. Wouldn't dream of it. School blurred into a haze after that. Classes droning on fractions and founding fathers. Lunch where Alex slung an arm around my shoulders in that brotherly way that twisted my gut. "Dude, where you at last night? Thought you got jumped by ghosts in the gym." His hazel eyes sparkled with mischief, oblivious to the storm he stirred. The way his touch ignited sparks I had to smother. "Locked in," I muttered, forcing nonchalance as we wolfed down mystery meat subs in the cafeteria roar. Janitor's fault, old wiring, or some shit. Alex barked a laugh, punching my arm. Classic. Bet he told you bedtime stories about the glory days. Man, remember Coach's rants on heart over hustle? Like we need more poetry. I nodded, but my mind was elsewhere. On Elias's gravel voice reciting those glory days. On the promise of 8 o'clock. By afternoon practice, the gym thrummed with energy. Balls thumping, sneakers chirping, Harlan's whistle piercing like Judgment Day. I ran drills on autopilot, vision tunneling to the clock. Every fast break a countdown to escape. But cracks showed. Midway through suicides. Those brutal shore runs that left lungs burning. Harlan pulled me aside, his meaty hand clamping my shoulder. Hale, you good? Look like you're carrying the weight of the world out there. His eyes, sharp behind wire rims, probed too deep, stirring the old fears. Harlan was old-school Chicago. Irish Catholic grit, stories of Jordan-era bulls tattooed on his soul. But rumors swirled. Whispers from underclassmen about that vibe with the new transfer kid last year. The one who'd quit mid-season. Just tired, coach? I lied, flashing the grin that usually bought grace. Late night studying. He grunted, unconvinced, clapping my back hard enough to jolt. Study this, scouts from Northwestern tomorrow. Don't choke. Then, lower, almost paternal. Whatever's eating you, shake it. We're family here. Family. The word landed like a charge, heavy with expectation. As I hit the showers last, always last, to avoid the gauntlet, steam clouding the mirrors, I caught my reflection. Lean frame corded from hours on the court, dark hair plastered wet, green eyes shadowed with secrets. How long could I run this play? Feint left, drive right, never committing to the shot? Dusk fell heavy as I slipped out the back door at 7:50. The lot a sea of rusting sedans under sodium lamps. Elias's truck loomed at the far edge. A battered Ford F-150. Primer gray with a bumper sticker reading, "Drive it like you stole it." He leaned against the tailgate, arms crossed. A six-pack of root beer chilling in a cooler at his feet. Punctual. I like that in a co-conspirator. We climbed into the cab, the engine rumbling to life with a throaty growl that vibrated through the seats. No destination, just the open road, Chicago's sprawl unfolding like a promise. We headed west on I-90, the skyline shrinking in the rearview, skyscrapers giving way to industrial ghosts, and then the quieter suburbs where lights twinkled like distant stars. Talk turned deeper as the miles ticked by, the cab a cocoon against the chill wind whipping past. Elias opened up about the knee, the ACL tear in a Sweet 16 run, the surgeon's cold prognosis, the way it stole not just the game but the brotherhood, leaving him adrift in a world that valued winners over warriors. Thought I'd never touch a ball again, he admitted, fingers drumming the wheel. But pain's a hell of a motivator. Started coaching Pee-wee. Then rec found my way back, limping and all. I listened, riveted, the parallels etching deeper. My own pains were invisible, the isolation of unspoken desire, the fear of shattering the Hale name. It's like, you're out there exposed. One wrong move and the crowd turns. I stared out at the passing billboards, faded ads for Sox games and rib joints. Dad always said, man up, Jordan. But what if the man inside doesn't fit the jersey? Elias glanced over, his profile etched in dashboard glow. Then you find a new team, one that plays for keeps. He reached across, hand covering mine on the bench seat. Brief, electric, a touch that said volumes without words. Heat bloomed in my chest, chasing away the December bite. And for a moment, the highway stretched infinite. We pulled off at a scenic overlook near the Indiana line, the city a hazy glow on the horizon. The air was crisp, stars pricking the velvet sky, and we sat on the tailgate, root beers fizzing open like champagne toasts. Laughter came easy, his tales of botched alley-oops, my impressions of Harlan's sideline tirades. But under it, a current ran, pulling us closer until our shoulders touched, breaths sinking in the quiet. Jordan, he said finally, voice husky, turning to face me. Moonlight silvered his features, softening the stubble, highlighting the curve of his lip. Last night, it wasn't just the lock. I've watched you from the sidelines wiping down after practices. The way you move, the fire. You're more than this town knows. Heart thundering, I leaned in, the world narrowing to the space between us. Our lips met tentative at first. A brush of uncertainty, then deepening, his hand cupping my jaw with a tenderness that unraveled me. It was fire and anchor, the kiss of someone who'd waited, who understood the stakes. No rush, no demand. Just us, in the vast American night, claiming a piece of truth. But truths cast shadows, and as we broke apart, breathless and alight, I caught a glint in his eye. Not just desire, but something guarded, a flicker of the storm to come. Back in the city by 10, he dropped me 2 blocks from home, our goodbye lingering in the cab's warmth. Tomorrow, he whispered, thumb tracing my knuckles. Same time, we'll figure the plays. I walked the snowy sidewalks buoyant, the world sharp and new, until the porch light flicked on, Mom's silhouette in the door. Jordan Hale, where on earth? Her voice cracked with worry, arms enveloping me in lavender and relief. Just team stuff, Ma. Lost track. Lies slipped easy, but her eyes searched mine, seeing too much. Sleep came fitful, dreams tangled with hardwood and highway lights. Elias's touch a phantom warmth. Morning brought practice, scouts in the stands like vultures in polos, Harlan's drills a gauntlet of precision. I shone, threading passes, sinking threes, but Alex's easy grin postgame twisted the knife. Killing it, man. That scout asked about you. Said you got pro potential. Pride swelled, bitter-edged. Pro. The dream that demanded perfection, the mask I wore like second skin. As the team filed out, I lingered deliberate, eyes scanning for Elias in the shadows. He emerged from the storage closet, mop in hand, our shared secret a spark in his nod. That night, the truck waited, and the road called. But on the dash, unnoticed in the glovebox's half-open yawn, a photo peeked. Elias arm in arm with a younger man, dates faded but recent, a life parallel to the one he'd sketched for me. The betrayal brewed slow, but oh, it would burn. The third night blurred the lines between escape and addiction. The truck's cab our private arena where rules bent and hearts laid down arms. We drove farther each time, past the loop's neon veins, skirting Gary's steel skeletons, chasing the illusion of endless blacktop under a canopy of stars that felt borrowed just for us. Elias's stories wove richer tapestries. The Atlanta boyhood dodging gang tags on court fences, the scholarship letter that changed everything, the quiet coming out over Thanksgiving turkey with a father who nodded once and never spoke of it again. He loved me still, Elias said, voice steady as the engines hum. That's the win that matters. I hung on every word, starving for the map he offered, a way through the maze of my own fears. In the passenger seat, with his hand occasional on my thigh, I confessed fragments. The first crush on a summer camp counselor, all broad smiles and easy hikes. The panic attack in the church basement after Dad's sermon on Sodom. The way Alex's laughter now echoed hollow, a reminder of what I could never voice. It's like I'm always calling a screen, hiding the drive, I admitted one night, fogging the window with my breath as we idled by the lakefront. Waves lapping like unanswered questions. Elias turned, his profile a study in quiet resolve, and pulled me close. Then stop screening. Drive straight, Jordan. I'll run interference. His kiss that time was deeper, laced with the salt of lake air, hands framing my face as if I were fragile glass. We didn't cross lines. No fevered rushes, just the slow burn of connection, lips and whispers building something sacred in the American sprawl. By week's end, it felt like a rhythm. School by day, where I dazzled scouts with crossovers and canned responses. Team first, always. And nights surrendered to the road, to Elias's laugh that chased shadows from my corners. Mom noticed the glow, her questions gentle over breakfast waffles. Someone special lighting your step, son? I'd deflect with grins, but Dad's gaze sharpened from behind the morning paper. His silence a sermon in itself. Conflict crashed in on Friday, the air thick with pregame jitters for the rivalry clash against Westside. Lincoln High buzzed. Banners strung. Pep rally chants thundering through halls like heard thunder. I was peak form, jersey crisp, but the locker room pre-talk turned toxic fast. Tommy Greer, our lumbering center with a mouth like a storm drain, slung the usual. Heard West Side's got that Ferry Point guard. You know, the one who prances like he's in a parade. Laughter rippled, edged with unease, and Alex joined in, oblivious. Yeah, well, we got Hale. Man's a machine, no frills. The jab landed indirect but sharp, my stomach nodding as I laced sneakers, vision blurring. Machine. Yeah, that's me, oiled gears, no soul. Harlan burst in then, clapping for attention. His pep talk a blaze of glory. This is our house. Play like champions. Love like brothers. Love. The word mocked as we hit the court. The crowds roar a wall of sound that drowned my doubts. Halftime tied, sweat slick and savage, West Side pressing hard. In the huddle, Harlan's eyes locked on mine. Hale, you're the spark. Ignite us. I nodded, but as we broke, Tommy muttered low. Don't go soft on us now. The words slithered, fueling a fire that propelled me through the second half. Steals like lightning, assists threading needles, a buzzer-beater three that sealed 78-72. The gym erupted, teammates piling on in a dogpile of backslaps. Alex's whoop in my ear. You're a god, man. But victory soured in the showers, steam veiling the mirrors as whispers turned pointed. I caught Tommy's glare, the way he toweled off deliberate, avoiding my space. Alex clapped my shoulder. Too hard, too long? Muttering, wild game. You okay? Looked intense out there. His concern felt like pity, stirring the pot of paranoia I'd kept simmering. Elias waited in the lot, truck idling like a faithful steed. I slid in silent, the wind's high deflating like a punctured ball. Rough one? He asked, pulling out smooth, reading me like a scouting report. Win, but I trailed, staring at taillights blurring red. Team stuff, the usual locker room bullshit. Makes me feel like I'm playing for the wrong side. He reached over, squeezing my knee. Sides are illusions, Jordan. Courts are round. Everyone's got a shot. We drove in companionable quiet, the radio humming low-country tunes, until he veered toward a dive-off Division Street. Neon Mel's flickering over a lot dotted with Harleys. Fuel stop. My treat. Burgers that'd make your Kansas roots weep. Inside, the bar hummed with blue-collar symphony. Clinking glasses, darts thunking cork, a jukebox crooning Springsteen. We claimed a corner booth, vinyl cracking under us, and over greasy patties and fries, the night lightened. Elias shared a tale of his own rivalry game. Tech versus Duke, a brawl that ended in ejections and eternal grudges. Hate's just fear in cleats, he said, dipping a fry. Run through it. Emboldened, I leaned in, voice low. You make it sound simple, like I could just tell them about us. His fork paused, eyes searching mine. Simple? Hell no. But right? Yeah. He covered my hand under the table, thumb circling slow. When you're ready, I'm there. No timeouts. We left buoyant. The kiss in the truck bed under street lamp glow fierce with promise. But as he drove me home, a call buzzed his phone. Ignored it first, then silenced with a grimace. Work? He muttered. But his jaw tightened. A tell I filed away. Saturday dawned gray. Scouts follow up a formality in Harlan's office. Handshakes, promise of visits, the golden ticket glinting. You're our ticket to states, Hale, Coach said, pride paternal. Don't let distractions derail. Distractions. The word echoed as I texted Elias. Tonight? Need you. His reply pinged quick. Always. Pick you 8. Pack a bag road trip. Excitement thrummed through afternoon errands. Mom's grocery run? Dodging her probing? Who's the smile for? Until evening shadows lengthened. I packed light. Jeans, hoodie. The worn photo of Dad's old team tucked in like talisman. 8 sharp. The truck rolled up. Elias grinning wolfish. Indiana dunes? Sand? Stars. No sirens. The drive south was magic. Highway hypnosis. His hand in mine. playlists shuffling from R&B confessions to rock anthems of rebellion. We arrived past midnight, the dunes moon-silvered sentinels against Lake Michigan's whisper. A blanket spread on the beach, fire crackling from driftwood. We lay entwined, his arm my pillow, stories flowing like the tide. "You're changing me," I whispered into his neck, breath warm on his skin, "making me believe in the shot." He kissed my forehead, voice rumble soft. "Good, 'cause I'm all in, kid." But dawn brought the call again. Insistent, Elias's phone lighting the tent like accusation. He stepped out, voice muffled. "Not now," I said later. When he returned, lines etched deeper, he brushed it off. Ex-drama. Old news. Trust flickered, but love, raw, budding, smothered doubt. We drove back tangled in afterglow. Chicago welcoming with open arms. Yet in the glove box, that photo mocked silent. Elias with the younger man, arms linked at what looked like a courthouse, dates screaming recent. 2 months passed. Betrayal's shadow lengthened, but I was too deep to see the fall. The idol shattered on Monday, the gym's familiar thud a cruel echo of the weekend's serenity. Practice ramped brutal, Harlan's revenge for the scouts' praise, suicides till knees buckled, 3-man weaves that left bruises blooming like accusations. I pushed through, vision fixed on Elias in the periphery. Him taping ankles in the trainer's corner, our eyes locking in stolen seconds that fueled the fire. But Tommy's barbs sharpened. Hale's got that dreamy look again, like he's mooning over the cheer squad. Laughter tittered. Alex's joining hesitant. His glance my way laced with something new. Curiosity? Suspicion? Post-drill, as I iced a twinged ankle in the empty PT room, the door creaked. Alex slipped in, towel slung low, expression unreadable. "Yo, Jordan, we gotta talk." He perched on the table, legs swinging, the air thick with unspoken plays. My gut clenched, ice pack forgotten. "Shoot, what's up?" He rubbed his neck, eyes on the floor. "Look, man, Tommy's full of shit, but he's saying stuff about you being off lately, late nights, that glow. And hell, I've seen you watching." His voice cracked, cheeks flushing under the fluorescence. "Not girls, right? Like the way you look at us." The room tilted, confession ripping free like a torn net. "Alex, no playbook for this, no feint to dodge the truth. Yeah, it's me. Have been for a while. But it's not like that with the team. It's just." He held up a hand, soft. "Dude, chill. I get it. My cousin. He's out in New York. Happy as fuck. Just, why hide? We're brothers." Relief flooded, tentative, his hug awkward but real. Backslap and all. "Thanks, man. Means everything." As he left, whistling off key, a weight lifted, Elias's words ringing. "Drive straight." That night, the truck veered east, toward the lake's edge where freighters ghosted like iron specters. Over shared subs from a corner deli, I spilled it all, the talk with Alex, the crack in the wall. Elias listened, pride lighting his eyes. "That's your 3-pointer, Jordan." Momentum shift. Emboldened, I pressed, "What about you? That call the other morning, X." He stiffened, fork midway. "Ancient history. Guy couldn't handle the 9-to-5 grind. We split amicable." But his laugh rang false, and when he changed the subject to a pickup tourney he coached, I let it slide, chasing the ease. Days blurred into a fragile rhythm. Mornings with mom's coffee and dad's quiet prayers. School a gauntlet of winks from Alex, our secret bond sealed. Practices where Tommy's jabs dulled under Harlan's glare. Elias and I carved stolen hours. Dawn runs along the trail by the river, where his limp faded in the rhythm of our strides. Evenings in the truck, parked in empty lots, kisses deepening to confessions whispered against collarbones. But the calls persisted, nightly now, Elias silencing his phone with increasing irritation. "Work buddies," he'd mutter. But the glovebox photo nod, glimpsed once when he rummaged for mints. The younger man, laughing, arm possessive around Elias's waist, dated 3 months back. Recent. Doubt crept like fog off the lake, but love blinded, until Wednesday's storm. Practice cut short by thunder rumbling distant. team scattering like leaves. I lingered, finding Elias in the storage room. Back to me, phone pressed to ear. I told you, Marcus. It's over. Move on. His voice low, urgent, laced with a tenderness that twisted the knife. Marcus, the name from the photo, the ex he'd dismissed. I froze in the doorway, shadow long across the concrete. He turned, face paling. Jordan. Shit, wait. Who's Marcus? The words escaped flat, the gym's hum mocking my unraveling. Elias pocketed the phone, stepping close. My brother. Sick cancer scare last year. He's clingy since, calls too much. I didn't want to dump that on you. Relief warred with wariness, his arms pulling me in. Swear it. I murmured into his shirt, pine and doubt. Swear. His kiss sealed it, fierce, and we tumbled into the night, doubts dissolving in the downpour's rhythm. But lies have half-lives, and Thursday cracked the facade. Alex cornered me post-class, face ashen. Jordan, you gotta see this. He shoved his phone under my nose. A grainy photo, time-stamped last week. Elias outside a Boys Town bar, arm around a guy half my age, lips close in what looked like promise. Caption from some anonymous tip line. Janitor's side hustle? Lincoln High beware. My world tilted, betrayal hot and acrid. Where? Team group chat. Tommy forwarded. Said he tailed you one night. Saw the truck. Rage boiled, propelling me through afternoon haze. Harlan's office. Coach, it's bullshit. Elias is. What? Lover? Confidant? The words choked, Harlan's face thunderous. Hail. This touches the program? Clean it up. Now. I stormed the gym, finding Elias mopping the far court, whistle clean. Explain this. I thrust the phone, photo glaring. He glanced, paling. Jordan, it's not Marcus's friend. A setup. He. Liar. The accusation echoed. Raw. Months, Elias. You fed me lines while. No. He dropped the mop, closing in. That night, I was breaking it off for us. Marcus pushed, said I was rushing. But you. God, Jordan, you're the real thing. Tears stung, fists clenched. Real? Like your brother calls? Or the photo dates that lie? His face crumpled, hand reaching. I fucked up. Afraid you'd bolt if you knew the mess. But I love. Don't. The word slashed, me backing away. Unlock the door this time. For real. I fled into the rain. Chicago's streets a blur of neon and regret. Heart a bruised rebound. Home was interrogation. Mom's tears, Dad's stony silence, but Alex's text anchored. At my place. Beers, root. We got you. Curled on his couch till dawn, stories spilling. Elias, the hope, the hurt. Alex listened, no judgment. Heartbreak's the real drill, man. Builds character deeper than any court. Friday's game loomed, scouts returning, but I played hollow, mechanics flawless, soul adrift. Win snatched 65-62, but cheers rang tinny. Post-game, Elias waited by the truck, eyes red-rimmed. Talk, please. Thunder rolled again, fitting. You used me. I spat. The lock-in, a play to what real in the kid. Hell no. Pain etched his voice. Fate, Jordan. Or glitch, whatever. But it became real. Give me a shot to prove. Doubt warred, but the pull lingered. One. Tomorrow. Truth, all of it. Or we're done. His nod was solemn. Truth. That night, alone in bed, rain lashing windows, I wept. For the boy from Kansas, the man I'd glimpsed, the betrayal's sting. But in the ache, a seed. Resilience, humanistic and hard won. Climax brewed, the court awaiting its final play. Saturday dawned brittle, frost etching the windows like accusations. Chicago hunkered under a slate sky that mirrored my turmoil. Elias's text pinged at 7. Coffee shop on Clark. 10 a.m. No games. I dressed deliberate. Jeans worn soft, hoodie zipped against the chill, and slipped out before Mom's questions could pin me. The L train rattled downtown, each clack a countdown to confrontation. The city unfolding in indifferent majesty. Vendors hawking chestnuts, joggers braving the wind, the bean reflecting a distorted me back at me. The shop was a cozy burrow, exposed brick, steam curling from mugs, indie folk strumming low. Elias sat in the corner booth, 2 steaming cups sentinel, his frame hunched smaller than I'd remembered. No uniform today, just faded Levi's, a flannel shirt rolled to elbows, the tattoos thorns stark against morning light. His eyes lifted as I approached, raw with the night's vigil. I slid in opposite, hands wrapping the mug like lifeline. Truth, Elias. Start with the photo. He exhaled slow, stirring sugar absently. Marcus isn't my brother. Was my partner. 3 years. Met coaching his league, young, ambitious, fresh out. Thought we fit. His voice dipped, eyes on the foam. But he wanted flash, Boys Town parties, the scene. I wanted quiet. Last spring it cracked. He cheated, I forgave once. Then the photo night, I went to end it clean. Bumped into his friend. Old hookup, drama bait. Tommy must have snapped it, twisted for leverage. Leverage. The word soured the coffee. And the calls? Ancient history? Guilt. Marcus spiraled after drinking calls begging second chances. I blocked him twice, but he'd show up at work, the gym. Didn't want you tangled in that shitshow. He met my gaze, unflinching. You were light, Jordan. Pure play. Scared me shitless. Scared. The admission cracked my armor, tears pricking unbidden. You should have trusted me. I laid it all out, my fears, the team. And you, fed half-truths like assists to nowhere. I know. His hand inched across the table, hovering. Coward move. Janitor's curse. Sweeping messes, never owning mine. But losing you? That's the real injury. No rehab for that. Silence stretched, the shop's murmur a buffer. I traced the mug's rim, memories flashing. The locked Jim's confessions, highway kisses under stars, his hand steadying my free throws in dream and dawn. Betrayal stung, but beneath, connection real as hardwood grain. What now? I whispered, voice breaking. He leaned forward, earnest. Your call. If it's done, I'll fade. Mop the floors, cheer from shadows. But if there's play left, I'm in. Full court. The door chimed then, Alex bursting in like a storm front, scanning till he spotted us. Jordan. Dude, Harlan's on a rampage. Tommy spilled to the chat, scouts pulling back whispers. Said you're distracted. His eyes flicked to Elias, piecing fast. This the guy. I nodded, bracing. Alex dropped into the seat beside me, sizing Elias with a point guard's eye. You the janitor who locked my boy in? Ballsy. But his grin disarmed, extending a hand. Alex Ramirez. Jordan's ride or die. Hurt him again, and I'll foul out your ass. Elias shook, chuckle rueful. Fair. Elias crow. And the lock? Best mistake I made. They bantered easy, hoops talk bridging gaps, while I watched wonder blooming. Allies unexpected. As Alex headed out with a text me. We're good. Elias turned back, hope tentative. So? I stood, heart pounding the game's clock. One more drive, but slow, no screens. Relief broke across his face, and outside, under the awning as snow flurried soft, he pulled me close. The kiss was apology and absolution. Tender in the winter light, Chicago's pulse affirming around us. The weeks that followed were reconstruction. Practices where Harlan's drills honed not just body but resolve. His eventual nod, heard rumors hail. Bullshit or not, focus wins. A quiet grace. Tommy's barbs faded under team fines, Alex's wingman role solidifying our trio. Post-game hangs at diners, where Elias joined casual, his stories weaving him in. Coming out rippled gradual. First mom, tears to hugs over pie. Dad, a stiff walk by the lake where words failed but his arm around my shoulder spoke volumes. God's got plans bigger than jerseys, son. The team, a huddle after state's qualifier. Me standing raw, voice steady. This is me. Play or bench. Cheers erupted. Tommy's gruff. Whatever, man. Just pass clean. Sealing it. Elias and I built deliberate. Date nights at indie flicks. Weekend hikes in the dunes where sand sifted truths. No rush to labels, just us, 2 points charting a shared fast break. Spring thawed the city. Scouts recommitted. Northwesterns offer landing like a swish. Graduation night, under stadium lights strung like stars. We stood on the empty court. Me in cap and gown. Him in his best flannel. Full circle, I said, spinning a ball between us. He caught it, tossing back. New games just starting. You ready? I grinned, stealing the dribble, pulling him into a layup of a kiss. Born ready. In the end, it wasn't the lock-in that defined us, but the unlocking, the betrayal's forge tempering something unbreakable. America, with its vast courts and hidden corners, taught me. Love's no solo. It's the assist that wins, the humanistic hand extended in the half-light. And as we walked out together, doors swinging wide, I knew we'd nailed the shot.